नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 21. The Gopis glorify Krishna's flute. Texts, we will see texts from 3 to 5. 3 and 4 does not have purport, so we will together recite verse 5. So I'll just recite the verses 3 and 4. I'll do the translations. When the young ladies in the cowherd village of Vraja heard the song of Krishna's flute, which arouses the influence of Cupid, some of them privately began describing Krishna's qualities to their intimate friends. The cowherd girls began to speak about Krishna, but they remembered his activities. O king, the power of Cupid disturbed their minds, and thus they could not speak. Text 5. Please repeat after me. Barha Apidam Natavara Vapuhu Karnayoho Karnikaram Bibhrat Vasaham Kanakam Kapisham Vaijayantim Cha Malam Randran Venoho Adharam Sudhaya Apurayan Gopavrindaihi Vrindaranyam Swapada Ramanam Pravishat Gita Kirtihi. Barha Pidam Natavara Karnayo Karnikaram Bibradvasak Kanakakapishang Vaijayanting Chamalam Randran Venor Adarasudaya Purayan Gopavrindair Vrindaranyam Swapadaramanang Pravishad Gita Kirtihi. Barha Pidam Natavara Vapu Karnayo Karnikaram Bibradvasak Kanakakapishang Vaijayanting Chamalam Randran Venor Adarasudaya Purayan Gopavrindair Vrindaranyang Swapadaramanang Pravishad Gita Kirtihi. Barha Pidam Natavara Vapu Karnayo Karnikaram Bibradvasak Kanakakapishang Vaijayanting Chamalang Randhran Venor Adharasudaya Purayan Gopavrindair Vrindaranyang Swapadaramanang Pravishad Gita Kirtihi. Barha Pidam Natavara Vapu Karnayo Karnikaram बिभ्रद्वासक्कनककपिशं वैजयन्तीं च मालाम् रन्ध्रान् वेणुरधरसुधया पूरयन् गोपवृन्दैः वृन्दारण्यं स्वपदरमणं प्राविशद् गीतकीर्तिः. बर्हापीडं नटवरवपुः कर्णयो कर्णिकारम् बिभ्रद्वासकनककपिशं वैजयन्तीं च मालाम् रन्ध्रान् वेणुरधरसुधया पूरयन् गोपवृन्दैः वृन्दारण्यं स्वपदरमणं प्राविशद् गीतकीर्तिः. माताजी. बर्हापीडं नटवरवपो कर्णयो कर्णिकारम् वैजयन्तीं च मालाम् रन्ध्रान् वेणुरधरसुधया पूरयन् गोपवृन्दैः वृन्दारण्यं स्वपदरमणं प्राविशद् गीतकीर्तिः. Barha, a peacock feather, Apidam, as the decoration of his head, Natavara, of the best of dancers, Vapuhu, the transcendental body, Karnayoho, on the ears, Karnikaram, a particular kind of blue lotus-like flower, Bibrat, wearing, Vasaha, garments, Kanaka, like gold, Kapisham, yellowish, Vaijayantim, named Vaijayanti, Cha, and Malam, the garland, Randran, the holes, Venoho, of his flute, Adhara, of his lips, Sudhaya, with the nectar, Apurayan, filled up, Gopavrindaihi, by the cowherd boys, Vrindaranyam, the forest of Vrindavana, Swapada, because of the marks of his lotus feet, Ramanam, enchanting, Pravishat, he entered, Gita, being sung, Kirtihi, his glories. Translation and commentary by the disciples of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation: wearing a peacock feather ornament upon his head, blue karnikara flowers on his ears, a yellow garment as brilliant as gold, and the Vaijayanti garland, Lord Krishna exhibited his transcendental form as the greatest of dances as he entered the forest of Vrindavana, beautifying it with the marks of his footprints. He filled the holes of his flute with the nectar of his lips, and the cowherd boys sang his glories. Purport: the Gopis remembered all the transcendental qualities of Krishna mentioned in this verse. Krishna's artful way of dressing and the beautiful blue flowers placed over his ears excited the Gopis' romantic desires, and as he poured the nectar of his lips into his flute, They simply lost themselves in ecstatic love for him. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikasa Swaminiti Namine. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are now in the chapter of the Venu Gita. The Gopis glorify Krishna's flute. So the beginning, the autumn season has begun. It's very favorable, and and we heard from the first verse how the entire atmosphere of Vrindavan is very captivating, with the lakes and the rivers and the hills of Vrindavana was very attractive, and also the description is given about the beautiful birds chirping, the bees maddened, moving around, going around the flowers. And so Krishna and Balarama, along with other cowherd boys, were in a great ecstatic mood. So they entered the forest with the cows. And then we see here in the verse 4, a description is given about how the gopis, they were completely captivated by Krishna's beauty. In fact, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, we will see there are several verses which actually describes the glory of Krishna, or is Krishna's form, how he looks like, and how he presents himself to attract his devotees. So this is one of the pinnacle of verses. This is one of the very famous verse. Of the 3 or 4 verses we could see in the Bhagavatam in the 10th canto. One verse is, if we have time, we will try to look at that verse. In the very first verse of the Bhagavatam, the 10th canto, when the prayers of Brahmaji also describes Krishna's beautiful form. And then we will also see another verse in the section of where the wives of the Brahmanas, they wanted to offer Krishna incognito. They wanted to go and then give Krishna nice prasadam what they have made. So when they were also in great separation from Krishna, they wanted to please Krishna. So when there is also a beautiful description. So of all these 3 verses, this particular verse gives a perfect appearance of the Lord and how beautiful he is and how captivating he is. So these 3 verses that what just now I just spoke was, this is a commentary that is given by Sanatana Goswami for the Damodara Ashtakam prayers. So in that he mentions this about the beauty of Krishna, how he is so captivating. Of all these 3 verses, this verse stands to be the pinnacle. And also another amazing thing that we see here, that the gopis' situation is that they cannot very freely go and then meet, because they are, at least from the external perspective, they are married, they have husbands, so they cannot talk in public. So here in the previous verse we can see it is mentioned that, so they started, the moment they heard that Krishna is going to the forest, when they saw, they started speaking about him privately. So they were discussing about him, about his beautiful form. And then also in the commentary we see it is explained that it is in the verse 4, it is explained that their mind was disturbed and they became speechless because of seeing the beautiful form of Krishna. It's so attractive. Nobody could resist. They don't want to see him, but they cannot stop seeing him. They don't want to hear his descriptions, but they cannot stop hearing his descriptions. So out of that, in that situation, they became totally stunned. And so Shukadeva Goswami is revealing in this verse, what is it that they are meditating on? What is it that, so this beautiful form of Krishna, he's wearing a peacock feather, and his head is decorated with that. And then this bluish Karnikara flowers is being described here. It's very attractive. And also in the commentary, Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, he points out that Karnayo Karnikaram. So he says that there is 2 ears, but there is only one flower is mentioned. So he gives another insight. He makes the point that sometimes what Krishna does is, because he also is being maddened by the affection of his devotees, of the Gopis, so he sometimes moves the flowers to the left and right. So he keeps moving the flowers. So that's the explanation Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur gives. And also the garment that he is wearing it is mentioned here that Bibhradvasa Kanaka Kapisham Vaijayantim Chamala. Kanaka Kapisham, it's beautiful. It's yellowish, the yellowish garment that Krishna is wearing. And he is decorated with the Vaijayanti garland. It is mentioned that his garland is decorated with 5 different colors. It's so beautiful, attractive when Krishna wears this Vaijayanti mala. And so what he's doing, he's actually, in the very first verse, this Natavara Vapuhu. He's the greatest of dancers. He's so captivating by his beautiful form. There is a Tribhanga Rupam that he's exhibiting, and he's very captivating by that. And he's entering the forest with all his Gopas, his Gopa friends. They're all glorifying Krishna with great joy. Vrindaranyam Swapada Ramanam Pravishad Gita Kirti. So all the Gopas, Gita Kirti, they are glorifying Krishna. And Vrindavana is already beautiful. We already, in the first 3 verses, we heard the scene of Vrindavan, how beautiful it is, the birds chirping, the bees moving around. Everyone wants to please Krishna. Already it is very beautiful. And with Krishna's lotus feet touching Vrindavan, where he is moving, it becomes even more beautiful. It's so captivating, and that's what the Acharyas are explaining. So he's beautifying it with the marks of his footprints. So that is being mentioned here. And further, we'll just have a look at the commentary. Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur makes the point. A question could be raised. The whole Vrindavan. So, what to speak of Vrindavan? The Vaikunta. If somebody wants to enter Vaikunta, it's an abode where there is no scope for envy. Those who are pure souls, they can only enter the abode of Vaikunta. So in that place, there is no question of envy. But in this verse, the description of the verse, actually the Gopis are exhibiting these emotions. It appears that they are they become envious. They become envious of 2 personalities. One is the Gopas. They are actually freely roaming around with Krishna. They are just moving around with Krishna throughout the day. It's not possible for them. They cannot just so easily see Krishna. They cannot just move around with him so easily. It's difficult. So they were kind of envious of the Gopas. And then also in this verse there is a description of the flute, which is always being touched by the lotus lips of Krishna, and the nectar is being experienced by them. So Srila Vishnu Chakravarti in his commentary points out, though the flute is non-living, the touch of the nectar of Krishna's lips brought it to life and empowered it to madden the 3 worlds. Then considering the flute to be dull, lifeless and unqualified for such work, the vibration exudes from its holes and enters the ears and minds of the Vraja Gopis. The implication is that the flute vibration makes itself successful in accomplishing its purpose of fully exhibiting its powers by conquering the Vraja Gopis with the Cupid. So the point is that we didn't get this fortune. So in one sense, they are making the point that this flute is what is this? Actually, it's a dry bamboo. There is no rasa in that. So they are actually, what great fortune that they are exhibiting. They are experiencing Krishna's touch of his lips is being experienced by them. But then again, here in the commentary, Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur is pointing out that the flute is doing its perfect job actually by Krishna touching. So even it's being pointed out that there may be holes in the flute. So there may be a criticism. No, there are holes in this wood. So but then Krishna is touching the holes with his nectarian lips. And then the great transcendental sound is being vibrated. From that, it is captivating the entire universe. Everybody is stunned. Nobody could perform whatever they have to perform. Well, we'll be seeing all those descriptions in the upcoming verses where Srila Shukadeva Goswami is describing how by Krishna playing his flute, he is captivating everyone. So now that's the point, that the gopis are completely attracted. They are just totally captivated. They don't think of anything else. So because that is their position. They are not some ordinary practitioners. They are the pure devotees of the Lord. There is no one who can compete with them. They have attained. They are exhibiting the perfection of devotion. So Krishna is extremely pleased with their attitude. So Krishna is also equally very happy. And in one sense, these topics are way far ahead, very well above our head. But again, the Bhagavatam describes. So that's why there is a systematic study of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we are. Somebody may say, there are people who point out that Krishna is immoral, but why? Because they say that Krishna is dancing with so many gopis. How can he dance with other man's wives? This is the kind of a criticism they make. But Krishna is dancing with the gopis. He is playing the flute. So from where we get this description? This is another question that we can raise. So you want to say Krishna is immoral, Krishna is dancing with the gopis. From where do you get this description? The description is there in the Bhagavatam. So, but then go through the Bhagavatam from the first canto, read from the first canto of the Bhagavatam, who is that person? So the very first verse of the Bhagavatam establishes Krishna's supremacy. What is Krishna's position? How everything is emanating from him. How he is the cause of all the Vedic knowledge. How he is the cause of everything. And also, of course, the first verse of the Bhagavatam itself is, the Acharyas are giving so many explanations in various ways, how it is explaining that the pinnacle of the theism, or the final topmost point of the theism, is worship of Radha Krishna. So that is very well exhibited in the first verse of the Bhagavatam. So that's the whole point. Before one can comment about Krishna, first of all one should know the Krishna's position by properly studying the Srimad Bhagavatam. And otherwise it is very difficult to understand what is happening in the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam. In fact, we may try to understand, but we cannot understand. It's very difficult. The knowledge about Krishna's beauty, Krishna's dealing with his devotees, how the gopis are exhibiting the great love, all these things are very high subject matters. So it could only be a revelation by the process of purification. If we try to use our logic and then try to understand these intimate dealings, it's very difficult. It's not possible. So it is ultimately a revelation based on the purification one undergoes. The mercy of the Acharyas, the mercy of Krishna's pure devotees. If someone is fortunate enough, they may get a glimpse of it. So that's the whole point. So we can see here, that's why somebody may question why they are so much attracted. So there is no question of why the gopis are so much attracted to Krishna. It is like, somebody is asking a question, there are iron filings. There are broken pieces of iron. And if you keep a magnet, it is very natural that it will get attracted to the magnet. So Krishna is all attractive. We can see the description here that is given. So Krishna's form is beautiful. It's so attractive. It's natural for any living entity who is in a pure state to be attracted by him. So gopis, there is no need to even give any description about it. In fact, that's what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to exemplify. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to explain to the entire world that how the gopis are the topmost devotees. So one should follow in the footsteps of those great gopis. Gopi Bhritya Padakamalayur Dasa Dasa Anudas. So this is the attitude of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, to aspire to always remain as the servant of 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 the great gopis. So that's the whole point. So we see here that what is also more attractive is Krishna's. In Vaikuntha, the Lord is so perfect. He is perfect in his, the Godhead is complete. But then in Vrindavan, God loses his godliness. So Krishna, he is Krishna. So the devotees in Vrindavan, they don't see him as God. They see him as a cowherd boy. They see him as a small boy who is playing around. And Krishna is very happy in their interactions with them. So this is another point which is very difficult to understand, because that's why Krishna's pastimes are very bewildering. So one has to very systematically go through the Bhagavatam. And there was one, so His Holiness Bhaktivika Swami Maharaj, one of the classes, he explained that once Srila Prabhupada was in Vrindavan, and he was resting, or he was in the room. So he heard someone playing flute. The flute sound is actually very beautiful. I mean, of course, the traditional Vedic instruments, when it is played very nicely, it's very captivating. Specifically flute, it's so captivating. So someone was playing with the flute, and Prabhupada sent a message that, please ask that person to stop playing the flute. So he said that Krishna is the only topmost flute player in Vrindavan. So Prabhupada said that. So, and also another thing that, so to who can appreciate Krishna's flute playing and all these things. So this is completely on the transcendental realm. So this is the one. So the Acharyas point out that one should be Nirmatsaranam Satam. So the Bhagavatam at the very beginning, it sets the standards. So this subject matter of the Bhagavatam, it is for whom? It is for Nirmatsaranam Satam. So it's actually for the devotees of the Lord. So one should become free from envy. That is the platform from which one can appreciate the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam, or very much the whole subject matter of the Bhagavatam itself. So, because why? The Jiva, Ichcha Dvesha Samutvena Dvandva Mohena Bharata. The Jiva came to this material world because of this envy towards the Lord. This hatredness, this strong desire to enjoy the material world, strong desire to compete with the Lord. So, if we have such a conception, this subject matter becomes highly complicated. We cannot understand. So, as practicing devotees, we pray to the Lord, in a very, very respectful manner, in a very submissive way. That's why we try to follow in the footsteps of the Gopis. We don't try to become Gopis, but the idea is that we try to become the followers of the great pure devotees of the Lord. And when we hear, like the description that is given in this verse, the prayers that is offered by the Gopis, the descriptions that are given by the Gopis, when we hear from them, and that message, when we hear from the pure devotees, there will be that's the only hope. We get purified by that. So artificially we cannot try to enter into all these pastimes, then we'll see that we will miserably fall down. So that should be the understanding. Yeah, so that's the point that we discussed. No, so we can't just question that. Why? How is this? Even in a mundane way, there is love between like a young boy and a young girl. So there is an attraction, but there is it's in a mundane way. When it comes to the attraction between the Supreme Lord and His pure devotee, that's completely on the transcendental platform. There is no logic behind it. You can't give an explanation that why there is an attraction. You see a beautiful form, and by seeing that form, you may give some scientific explanation that there was a light that was emanating from that form. That form entered the retina, and then the neurons interacted. Then the form was captivated in the brain. These kind of explanation you can't deal with this subject matter. So this is another thing which is very difficult for some people to conceive. When we say that this is beyond the logic, it's not that it's the whole subject matter about theism itself is beyond logic. There is logic, but the logic is only up to some extent. After that, one has to surrender and try to hear from the acharyas the intricate dealings. Even they themselves, they say that it is very difficult to understand. So that's, if we can understand that it is very difficult to understand, it's not so easily to understand, then we are on the proper platform. Otherwise, it's very complicated. So that's the whole point that we are trying to repeat here is that, so we should not have the material conception that we generally in anything to do with material subject matter. Even someone has got, say, fertile brain, he may try to write it down, present it in a very pictorial way, but this subject matter is not like that. So that's why this is coming in parampara, oral reception, in a submissive way, try to hear. So there is also another beautiful description that is given in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Krishna's Kaviraja Goswami is explaining that there is something which is the greatest mystery of life. So he's pointing out that from this description we can understand why Gopis are considered to be the topmost devotees of the Lord. So he says that, so because of short of time I'm not reading the Sanskrit, I'm just reading the meaning of the translation of the verse. Once Lord Sri Krishna playfully manifested himself as Narayana with 4 victorious hands and a very beautiful form. When the Gopis saw this exalted form, however, their ecstatic feelings were crippled. Even a learned scholar, therefore, cannot understand the gopis' ecstatic feelings, which are firmly fixed upon the original form of Lord Krishna as the son of Nanda Maharaj. So there, and we can see the beautiful description that is given here. So this is the utter expression of love from the gopis, seeing the beautiful form of the Lord. So Krishna is not an imaginary figure; he's a reality, and he's all attractive, completely attractive. So anybody who gives oral reception to his name, to his instructions, and about his beautiful form, he will lose himself, and that's the perfection of life. Generally, it is considered, any married woman, if she is attracted to someone else, it's considered to be completely immoral. That's not advised. But here, are the gopis immoral? No, this is the perfection of one's life, that to be attracted by Krishna. So all of us are actually, we need a hanker to be attracted by the name, form, Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, right? That's what we need. Unfortunately, because of our conditioning, we are attracted to so many other things. So, but by the cultivation of association of devotees, chanting the holy names, engaging in various services, gradually we will be able to develop taste for appreciating Krishna's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela. In fact, the sadhana bhakti is meant to invoke such feelings as well. Because if we see Krishna's instruction in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains that one should, what's that verse? Anusmara yudhyacha, mayarpita mano buddhir. How does the beginning of the verse goes? Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yudhyacha, mayarpita mano buddhir. It's a challenge, I would say, for all of us, all of the practitioners. So, did you remember Krishna today? We may be very busy. Of course, with the activities also that we are doing, it's for Krishna. But then also, we gradually cultivate. That's why, if we see the whole day, we have a package. Morning we wake up for Mangalarti, immediate remembrance of the Lord. We come and then offer our prayers to Guru. We offer our prayers to the Lordships. We see the beautiful form of the Lord. And in fact, also we know, what can we see? The Lord, we present ourselves in front so that the Lord can see us. So and then we also, as practice of the sadhana bhakti, we try to see the lotus feet of the Lord. We try to see the beautiful, from lotus feet, we try to gradually see the form of the Lord. In that way, the eyes become purified, the ears become purified by hearing His name, the tongue become purified by chanting His names, the sense of touch, everything we become purified by the process of sadhana bhakti. So Krishna's beautiful form, His name, is all captivating. So it is our responsibility to follow the principle of sadhana bhakti. By chanting Hare Krishna, by chanting Hare Krishna, the name leads to the Nama, will reveal the Rupa. And then further, when one gets purified, when one becomes steady in the chanting, it will reveal Rupa, Nama, Rupa, the qualities, the pastimes, everything will be revealed. So there is no need for us to try anything artificial. So coming back to the descriptions of Krishna, there are so many verses which explains. So there is one beautiful song. See, the devotees of the Lord, they are in whatever, they may be expert in various fields, specifically in the Sanskrit poetry. The Sanskrit becomes so much beautiful, it's glorified because there are choicest of poetries which describe the beautiful form of the Lord, which describe the beautiful activities of the Lord. And it's, when someone hears it, when someone renders it, it's really so captivating. And we can see this is completely on the transcendental platform. So there is a song, we will just see maybe at least one or two verses, which is a very famous song. It's an anonymous author. We do not know who wrote it. The song goes like this: Nava Nirada Nindita Kanti Dharam Rasa Sagara Nagara Bhupavaram Shubha Vankima Charu Shikanda Shikang Bhaja Krishna Nidhing Vraja Raja Sutam. So just before we get into the translation of this verse, so what is the greatest worship one can perform in one's life? The jiva, first of all, to get to know who is God, and then to know that the God is a person, and then among the person, the topmost form of worship is worship of Vishnu, and then in terms of rasa, in terms of melos, it is understood that Krishna is the cause of all causes. Ete chamsa kalapumsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swam. From him all the expansions appear. And this verse, today's verse, explains the beautiful form of the Lord, how in his original form of Shyama Sundara, how he looks like. And we can see in the purports, the Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada in Manmana Bhava Mad Bhakto purports, and two other purports, he points out that he gives what is it that the Gaudiya Vaishnavas are aspiring for. They're aspiring for the two-handed form of Lord. So, and his description is so nicely given in today's verse. So here, in this verse, it is explained how Nava Nirada Nindita Kanti Dharam. So how does his complexion looks like? It in fact, it conquers the rain clouds. We can sometimes see when it is just about to rain, we can see the beautiful cloud, the blackish cloud. So Krishna's beautiful form, it conquers that. And he says he's the Kanti Dharam, means he's very attractive. Rasa Sagara Nagara Bhupavaram, and he is the king of all the paramars. Rasa Sagara is the ocean of all the mellows. All the mellows are within him. And he's Akila Rasamrita Murti. That is another name that is given to Krishna. He's all attractive. And what another we can see in this Barha Pidam, the verse explains about the peacock feather that he is holding on his head. It's very attractive. And in this verse it is a Shubha Vankima Charu Shikanda Shikam. So he is crowned with the beautiful peacock feather. It's all attractive. So I'll just stop here. There is no time. So the beautiful descriptions are given in the scriptures, and all the great devotees are glorifying Krishna's beautiful name, form. Specifically, his form is being explained in this verse, and we can see on the upcoming verses. I'll just read the translation of two other verses, and we'll wind up this class. So this, as I said, at the beginning of the class, we discussed that there are 3 verses in the Bhagavatam which actually describes about the beautiful form. Other verse which Brahma, in the Brahma's praise, the very beginning of the Brahma's praise, he glorifies. He says, "My dear Lord, you are the only worshipable Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore I offer my humble obeisances and prayers just to please you. O son of the king of the cowherds, your transcendental body is dark blue like a new cloud. Your garment is brilliant like lightning. And the beauty of your face is enhanced by your gunja earrings and the peacock feather on your head. Wearing garlands of various forest flowers and leaves, and equipped with a herding stick, a buffalo horn and a flute, you stand beautifully with a morsel of food in your hand." So we heard this before. And okay, so there is another verse where the wives of the Brahmanas, they also glorify quite a similar verse. And then another description that is given that is very much related, we can relate that verse to us. They are the wives of the Brahmanas, they attain perfection of their ears because they are hearing about Krishna's glories, Krishna's beautiful pastimes. They are hearing, and now they got a great opportunity to see him and serve him. So that is again the perfection of one's lives. It is described that how a yogi who is meditating, he has lost his senses and everything because he's so totally absorbed, and he again regains consciousness when he sees the beautiful form of the Lord. Similarly, the Gopis, the wives of the Brahmanas, when they got a great opportunity to serve Krishna, they were completely captivated. So anyway, so this is what the Bhagavatam that is offering us. What we are reading is something amazing, and we do not know what fortune we ourselves have got and what fortune we are bringing to others when we are taking this Bhagavatam and distributing to others. So who will know in this entire universe? It is explained in the Bhagavatam. The Gita explains that what is that? It says that Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanamam Prapadyate Vasudevam Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlabha. Very, very rare to know that Krishna is the Supreme Person. That itself is very rare. And then to know that this cowherd boy who is roaming around in Vrindavan without shoes, just wearing a peacock feather and herding the cows and then just playing with Gopa friends, he is the ultimate perfection of theism. This is what we are offering to the public. So it's great that Srila Prabhupada engaged us in the hearing of the Srimad Bhagavatam, making our life purified, and also he has given the great responsibility of distributing the Srimad Bhagavatam. So many devotees are engaged in distributing the Srimad Bhagavatam. Of course, other Srila Prabhupada's books also, no doubt about that. So that we are offering the greatest treasure to the entire humanity. So we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna.